Hello book lovers, my name is Natalie and I love books, so let's talk about them. Alright, I just wanted to do a quick reflecting on my reading in 2019. I don't want to go super in depth. I just thought I'd do, kind of look at my Goodreads and then talk about the 5-star books and the 1-star books I read, and then 2019's most disappointing books. And we'll end it there. So, according to Goodreads, so let's just jump into it, okay? So, according to Goodreads, I read 20,271 pages across 86 books. I tried to shoot for 100, but it just didn't happen this year. My shortest book was 26 pages, which was Jim Henson's, I need to slow it down. Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. My longest book was The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Good book, go read it. The most popular book I read across just, the population was Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I will never read it again. It was terrifying. The least popular book I read was Haint Blue, The Rockford Haunting. I think this is part 1. I liked it, but, the highest rated on Goodreads book that I read was Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, which was really good, guys. If you have not read it, go out and read it. And then, I think I'll stop there with the Goodreads one. If you want to see it, if you look in the description, I always have my Goodreads there. You can check it out there, or you can go to my Twitter and I put up a link in there. I had posted it at some point, so that's how I had to find it. I couldn't even find it off my Goodreads. So let's talk about my 5-star books this year. So I'm gonna actually start from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. 5-star books I read. I read Have a Nice Day by Billy Crystal, which was actually an audiobook, which was a good time. Of course, because it's Billy Crystal. That one was great. I read Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis, which is kind of a self-help book. I really enjoy Rachel Hollis. I know not everybody does. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. I read Into the Drowning Deep by Mira about killer mermaids. I thought it was fantastic, and I hope there is a sequel because I really enjoyed it. I read The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I actually listened to this on audiobook. I loved the narrator. The narrator was so good. And it was a good time. It wasn't super hard sci-fi. I like that there was a lot of relationships. And, I've seen a lot of comparisons to Firefly. And I did feel like it kind of hit those notes. So that one was a good time. I read Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which I'm going to be honest, I don't remember that well. I just remember I liked it. So I don't know what to tell you. I do want to read Wayward Son, though. I read A River in Darkness by Masaji Ishikawa, which is about a man who is taken to North Korea as a child and then has to escape, which was eye-opening. I'm not going to say like it was good. It was great. No, it was eye-opening, and that's why I gave it 5 stars. I don't think that we really truly understand in this country what it's like to live in North Korea. And this was just eye-opening to me. Then I read The Last Time I Lied. My next 5-star book was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, which was 5 stars. The other 2 didn't hit those 5 stars. I wish I wouldn't have started with this one because it was so good. I so did not see the ending coming that I was just blown away. So this is definitely a must-read. Put it on your must-read list. Then Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Like I said, I thought that one was great. It was, I liked him before, and then I listened to this audiobook, which I really recommend. Listening to him read it is fantastic. But I liked him beforehand, and I think I just respect him so much more knowing what his past was like. So then I listened to Co-Creating at Its Best by Wayne Dyer and Esther-Abraham Hicks, which, if you like the Law of Attraction, it was great. I listened to it as an audiobook. I think it gave it so much more. The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. That was fantastic. It was funny and sweet. If you watched my other, my December wrap-up video, you'll see what I thought there. And The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek by Rhett, McLaughlin, Neal, and Lance Rubin, which was also great. I really enjoyed that one. Again, if you want to see what I thought about it, just watch my December wrap-up. My 1-star books for the year were, and these are in no particular order, The Adventures of Tom Stranger by Larry Correia. Oh my God. The House of 12 by Sean Davies, which felt like it was something that could have been written by me and my friends in high school. And Allegra Song by Alicia Rasley, which apparently was so terrible I don't even recall it. So 2019's most disappointing books for me. So these are not books that were put out in 2019. They just happen to be the ones that I read in 2019, and I expected so much more out of them, and I didn't get that. So I already talked about Tell Me How You Really Feel by Aminah Safi. Again, if you want to see what I thought about it, check out my December wrap-up. I tried out, I never added this one. When Katie Met Cassidy, it's another one that I DNF'd in December. Who's this by? Oh my gosh, how am I not prepared for this? I was so prepared for the last one. So, When Katie Met Cassidy is written by Camille Perri, and I was reading it, and I started a new chapter, and I was on a different character, and I didn't know it. I restarted it. I thought maybe it was me, and I restarted, and I tried again, and I still had that problem where there wasn't delineation between Katie and Cassidy. Usually even in like a poorly written romance novel, when you've changed character. This one, I didn't see it. So, I decided to DNF it. I might pick it up again at another time. It was my second, female romance, and I really wanted a good one this time. And it wasn't, it just wasn't doing something, or I wasn't paying attention. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. The next most disappointing book in 2019, again, this has nothing to do with what I rated them. Understand that. It's just that I was hoping for so much more from it. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. Again, this is a good book. I still recommend it. If you love mystery, I recommend it. If you love thrillers, I recommend it. If you're good at figuring things out and you figure out the twist, I would still recommend it. It's still a worthwhile read. I was just disappointed because I kept, reading these reviews and watching these booktubers say, oh my gosh, it's like amazing. I wanted to feel that, and I didn't because I figured it out. Which, for some people would be like a triumphant feeling, but it was not to me. So I do like to have that mystery. So the next most disappointing book of 2019 was The Haunting at Hill House, or Of Hill House. Of Hill House? At Hill House? I don't know. Any which way, I wanted it to be more, it wasn't as spooky as I thought it would be. And maybe it's because I was listening to it as an audiobook and wasn't reading it. Sometimes the audiobooks hinder instead of help. But I just, it didn't do it for me. It wasn't as, it was by Shirley Jackson, by the way. This woman goes to this house and they are basically investigating it paranormally. There were some cool, like, literary things happening in there, but it just, I didn't, it was disappointing. I just thought it was more than what it was. The next disappointing read of 2019 was TikTok by Dean Koontz. First off, I'm going to tell you, this was a hard book to track down, and I managed to find it in a used bookstore. And the reason why I tracked it down was because I had heard this was hilarious. It was funny, but it was also paranormal, and it was kind of scary. And it was great until the ending. And then I was just like, done with it. Put it away. Nope, done. So, yeah, it was a big disappointment, especially after all the effort I put into finding this book. I just thought it could have been better, especially that ending. And one of the characters in it was just a little too, I don't know. It weird enough, but it was a little weird, if that makes sense. And generally I love weird books. Just to give you a quick summary, this guy, he he is given this doll, and the doll comes alive and starts to chase him and is trying to kill him. That's basically the gist of it. And, he finds someone to help him out. And it, like I said, it just wasn't, I think, what it could have been. And then the last most disappointing book of 2019 was Lock Every Door. I had read The First Time I Lied to start with, because that's what my library had available. And then after that, I read Final Girls, and it wasn't as good as Last Time I Lied, but I was like, that makes sense because, that was his first book, or that was his debut as Riley Sager anyway. And then I read Lock Every Door, which was really good up until the end. And when I found out what the twist was, I was disappointed, to say the least. I thought it would be something else. There were so many other different ways it could have gone. Again, it wasn't that it was bad. I think, I'm not sure what rating I gave it. I'd have to go back and look. But Lock Every Door, it just wasn't what I was hoping it was going to be. Let's put it that way. And that's basically how I feel about these most disappointing books. They just weren't what I thought they were going to be. That's all. Again, no comment on the quality of these books. You might pick them up and you might enjoy them. Heck, you might pick up my 1-star reads and you might enjoy them. Always keep that in mind. But those were the things that disappointed me about them. And, so... All right, guys, I think that's everything. I did want to ask you, what was the best book you read in 2019? Worst book? Did you have any favorites? Did you hate, are there some that you're still thinking about to this day? Let me know. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you found something in this video you liked, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing. I'll leave you some videos in the end card to help you decide. And again, thanks so much for watching. Bye. I feel like this would be better if I weren't reading my outro over here, but I felt necessary to have an outro, that call to action thing.